Senior Life Journeys presents Carol Howell's Let's Talk Dementia, a podcast designed to help caregivers find knowledge, power, hope, and smiles in their dementia caregiving journey. Welcome to Let's Talk Dementia. Here is your host, best-selling author, Carol Howell.
Hello everyone, it's Carol Howell with Let's Talk Dementia. I am glad you're here today. Now, I promised you that this episode would be a joint episode, an interview with Mr. Surya Kalori of Bank of America, and I did the interview, and it was such a good interview. He was so easy to talk to, and I learned a lot of things that I was excited to share with you guys. And when I went to produce the episode, it was full of the largest amount of static you've ever heard in your life. Not static, echo. And I am working very hard to try to get rid of that echo. So will you ever hear that interview? I don't know. Still got this boo-boo on my head here where I got hit by stuff falling off the shelf, but it's healing up pretty quickly. It looks like I should clean my face, doesn't it? Well, I hope you've had a good caregiving few days. As I'm recording this, it's on Sunday, so you'll see it on Monday. So you've had a weekend, and I hope your weekend was enjoyable and not too many stressful things thrown at you. Life has a way of doing that even without dementia, doesn't it? We just want to pick up where we left off, talking some more about Alzheimer's, and today we're going to talk about medications. We want to talk about how effective are the drugs that are currently being prescribed for Alzheimer's type dementia specifically. Well, the effect of the current drugs is quite minimal. Some folks actually did worse on the drugs than others. Some folks had all kinds of gastrointestinal issues, especially with Aricept. Aricept is a cholinesterase inhibitor, and it has a tendency to cause gastrointestinal issues. Now, I've been telling you that I've been learning about your gut health and how your gut's called your second brain. Some doctors call it your first brain, and that this is actually your second brain because so much of what goes on here starts down there in your gut. And so gastrointestinal issues are not your friend. They cause problems for your entire body. But Aricept especially caused upset stomach for a lot of people. And so then they've got a patch of, what's the name of that other medicine? I can't even remember. That it really was a good thing since the transdermal application of it by using it as a patch lowered the number of instances of stomach issues. And then there's Namenda. Namenda's generally was started anywhere from 3 to 4 or 5 months after Aricept because they believe these two drugs came together synergistically, and they were just a good combination together. And so much so that several years down the road, they combined those two drugs into one. Now, all that just sounds wonderful, doesn't it? And it sounds way more wonderful than it is because, that's my dog barking, we don't know that these drugs have helped at all. They give false hope. People think, oh yeah, we're taking some drugs and I've got to do something. There's got to be a way to stop this disease. Let's take these medicines. But they're not really being proved to do too much. It does seem that at the best you get a bit of an increase in ability for a short period of time, but then the decline starts again. I talked with Dr. Bolouri, B-O-L-O-U-R-I, who endorsed my book, Let's Talk Dementia, available on Amazon bestseller, about my mom, whether I should keep her on the Aricept and the Namenda, a couple of years ago. And his feeling was if it wasn't making her sick, causing her any problems, to leave her on it, because they do sometimes see that when folks come off the medication after having been on it for a while, that they have a drastic decline and you never get back to where you were. So you can't say, well, if we have a decline, we'll go off and go back to where we were. That doesn't happen. So he said, as long as she has a quality of life where she can still communicate and eat and, have participation in life in some degree, he said, let's just leave it alone because we don't know what's going to happen. And that's kind of concerning too when you think about you don't know what's going to happen when you come off of a medication. I don't know. The whole thing is just kind of crazy. So anyway, drugs are being studied that will remove plaque from the brain. Some of them are successful. Some of them, once the plaque was removed from the brain, beta amyloid plaque, you would think that would reverse the damage. It does not. In fact, in some studies, it made it worse. So who knows? I think in Japan or China, somewhere not close to me, a drug is being developed from seaweed, which I thought was very interesting because, I'm this natural girl and thought, well, now that kind of piqued my interest a little bit. But the problem, too, with the drugs is you've got to think with Alzheimer's, it's not just one little problem we've got going on in the brain. The brain is being eaten. All areas of the brain are being destroyed little by little by little by little for, they say, 20 to 30 years before you even know there's a symptom. Now think about that. There's a lot of damage that's gone on before the symptom, much less the damage that goes on after the symptoms are very vivid and after the diagnosis. So we have lots of holes. The example given to me was to think about a bucket that had 36 holes in it. 36 is just a random number, and you only had one patch. And you can fix that one hole, but that's all you're going to fix. And right now, what they're looking toward is, what do we do about beta amyloid plaque, or what do we do about tau? But what about other things that are causing Alzheimer's, and can we fix all those other things? So it is a large problem. But what we are learning, and this is the amazing and hopeful part for me, and I reiterate this with you, and I will continue to do so, is statistically only 5% of the people who have Alzheimer's have a genetic form of Alzheimer's called early onset. That means 95% of us have Alzheimer's that is most likely brought on by environment, or what we are doing to our bodies or not doing to our bodies, what we are putting in our bodies or what we are not putting in our bodies. Are we exercise? Are we eating right? I sound like a broken record, I know, but I really want you to get this. The thing is, we've got to change our mindset. We've got to start doing those things that will help bring health to us, because right now there is no medication to stop Alzheimer's, to slow Alzheimer's, to improve the symptom of Alzheimer's. Quite honestly, the medications we have do squat, and many, many people are just not even using them at all. But they are making the pharmaceutical companies quite a lot of money, even in their generic forms, which I think most of them have gone generic by now. It's a very frustrating thing, but I want you to be hopeful, and instead of thinking drugs, think healthy eating, think plant-based foods. Today we had our lunch, and we had quinoa patties. They were very good, and I sauteed kale, and I told you I use bacon as a topping, or what's the word? An accoutrement for our food. So after I cooked the kale in some coconut oil, I sprinkled some bacon bits and some sunflower seeds with pepita seeds in it. I love pepita. Have you guys had that? Ooh, so good. P-E-P-I-T-A is a seed. Seeds are so good for y'all. Please, handful of seeds, handful of nuts every day. But we had the kale cooked with garlic salt in coconut oil, some bacon bits, and the pepita seeds. Even my husband said, "This is good." He didn't go, "Is this that green stuff again?" Which I was very pleased about. So we had that, and we had some leftover mashed potatoes. Don't eat a lot of white potatoes in this house, but we did splurge and have some white mashed potatoes. You know what I'm talking about. Because my husband had been sick for a couple days, and I thought that would make him feel better. But earlier, or after that, I decided, I need something for dessert. What are we going to have? So we had peanut butter that I stirred raw oatmeal into and put some craisins in and a little bit of the sweet leaf liquid stevia, stirred it all together. Yeah, you do that, you will call me and go, "Oh, girlfriend, that stuff is good." And you can just eat it with a spoon. It's happy. So there's you something to think about cooking. I'll be going this week and checking out some farmers markets in my area, because we're going to talk about eating organic. Oh, yeah, you just need to do that. It's expensive, but being sick isn't cheap either, is it? Well, I hope you've learned something that might change your mind about medications. It might not. That's okay. It's the risk you take. But I hope it will definitely change your mind about how you eat and how you move your body. And we're going to talk about that some more. And I'm going to hope that I get that interview figured out so I can show it to you from Bank of America of the wonderful work, the things that they're doing to help us learn and to be more prepared and to take care of their employees. I think a lot of employers could learn from them. Well, I hope you have a great day. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. Let's Talk Dementia would like to thank our sponsors, National Association of Veterans and Families. You can reach them at 800-352-2919, on the internet at www.navf.org. They speak veterans so you don't have to, and you tell them Carol sent you when you call to inquire about benefits for the veteran, the spouse of the veteran, or both. Editor Beth. You can find Ms. Beth Crosby at editorbeth.com. She is amazing at looking at what you've written and making sure it represents you well. Find her at www.editorbeth.com. And HD Imports, located on Flint Street Extension in Rock Hill, South Carolina. That's York County. 803-985-0985. They are there for the repair and maintenance of your Honda, Hyundai, Toyota, Kia. Tell them Carol sent you.
Thanks for joining us today for Carol Howell's Let's Talk Dementia. To learn more about dementia, we recommend Carol's best-selling book, also titled Let's Talk Dementia. It's available on Amazon in paperback and Kindle versions. Be sure to like Let's Talk Dementia on Facebook and leave us a kind word of review on iTunes. Remember, knowledge brings power. Power brings hope. Hope brings smiles. And we all need more smiles. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll be right here when you come back to Let's Talk Dementia.